Okay, this is going to be a quick tutorial about how to create a clickable table of contents in a WordPress blog on your site. So this is a blog post on an old site I have about smoothies. If we scroll down, what I've done to start us off with is just created a little menu right here, or a table of contents right here with all of the headings in my post. This works with H2 headings, so that's going to be, you can see here, I've made a heading and it's marked as an H2 heading. If you don't know how to do that, you can take any paragraph of text, like for example, we can grab this one. This is a paragraph right now. We can come here to the little change block type style, click that button, and transform to a heading. This transformed it to an H2. We have options on the right in the menu tab to change it to another level, an H1, which that's your title level. You don't want to use H1s in your post structure, H2, H3, and so on. Typically, headings in your post should be around an H2, occasionally an H3 if it's a very long post. So I converted this to an H2, but it doesn't need to be one, so I'm going to just click that H in the top left and retransform it back to a paragraph. So here on my bulleted list, I've already gone through the post and written down all of my H2s that I want to link to in this table of contents. And I've just written them down in a simple bulleted list. There's nothing unique about this list right now. It's not clickable, but I'm going to show you how to make it clickable. So we'll start with the first H2, which is this breakfast smoothies. When you click on the block, it tells you that it's an H2 and it gives you all that information. Then you want to shift over to the block menu bar on the right. This is again where you can see the heading settings, and then there's color settings, which we can ignore, and you want to click this advanced option. If it's not already open it on up, and this will give you the option to create an HTML anchor. An HTML anchor is typically 1 to 2 words that describe the heading. So we'll just go with breakfast, keep it simple and easy here. Breakfast. Make sure that you don't have any typos because we're going to be using this exact anchor later. In fact, what I like to do is go ahead and do highlight the word and do a Command C just to make sure if I get any typos, if I did some weird capitalization, if anything happened, I've just got it copied. I don't have to retype it. So I've copied that. This HTML anchor is now attached to this H2 because that's what we're working with. Then I'll come right back up here to the menu that I want to be clickable, highlight the word breakfast, and then go here like I'm making a link. This is the same way that you would make an external link to another thing on your website or another website. Click the link. And instead of typing in a URL, what you're going to do is type the £. Whoa, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. So instead of typing the URL, you hit pound and then paste in that word and press enter to add the link. And you can see when we were in there, actually, it was saying that this was an internal link. And so what this is going to do is the £, breakfast is telling you to skip to the point in this post that has the HTML anchor of breakfast. So we're going to scroll down and do the exact same thing for veggie. I found the veggie header. I click the veggie header, go to the block bar on the right, scroll down to HTML anchor. I'm going to type in very predictable veggie. I'm going to copy paste it. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to this bulleted list, highlight the word veggie, go click the link, type in the £, and paste. See, this is what I was referring to, that it's saying it's an internal link versus saying external. I'm going to press enter to add the link. And we'll go through and do these for each heading in the post. This is most useful for really long posts. I may not even do it typically in a post of this length because it's easy to scroll through. But for those big posts that are 1,500 plus words, the ultimate guide to anything, these can be really useful for your readers because they might only want some information that you're offering and not be as interested in the rest. But it will keep them on your site longer if they are able to find the content that they need. It's a little bit counterintuitive because you think, oh, they're skipping, maybe my first 1 or 2 headings. But the reality is if they scroll through and don't find the information that they are looking for quickly, they're going to click away and find someone else who will give them the information quicker versus reading every heading that you have to offer. So a little bit counterintuitively, this can actually be a strategy that keeps people on those longer posts for a longer period of time because you're giving them what they want instead of forcing them to read through things that they may or not find relevant to their specific situation. So I'm adding this link. Make sure when you're adding these that you're not opening in a new tab. That would be really irritating to people. You want to make sure that nothing else is checked. It's just the straight link. So now we're going to go over to preview, and I'm going to click that. And we can scroll down and see this in action. So here are a few of our favorite smoothie recipes. My ads are trying to load. They're struggling a little bit. I'm going to click down to one of the ones further down the page because that will be more dramatic since breakfast smoothies is right here. I'm going to click protein, and you can see we jumped to just below the H2. And so this is one thing that can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're logged into WordPress, because you won't even be able to see the H2 anymore. It will just drop you here, but for people who are not logged into WordPress, they can usually at least see some of it because this WordPress bar isn't blocking it. But hopefully if your H2s are nice and short like they should be, and the anchor text up here is very clear about where you're going, it still won't be surprising to people even if they click and they can't see that heading because they can see, oh look, here are a bunch of dessert sounding smoothies, and I clicked dessert and that's what I was looking for. So you can scroll right back up here and interact with these. I always like to test all of them just to be sure, because you don't want to tell somebody they can click something on your site and go somewhere if they cannot. But you can see how that's just a couple of clicks and you have this working menu. I would also make sure that you introduce the menu and explain what it's doing. This post is going to talk about breakfast, veggie, protein, and dessert smoothies. You can skip straight to the section that you're looking for by clicking it in the table of contents below. Some fun text like that is explaining people how to interact with this, or else they might not realize. And it's also important to note you can make this text whatever you want. I know a lot of people will do things like add emojis here just to make it a little bit more interactive and catch people's eye. So they might put like pancakes next to breakfast, broccoli emoji next to veggie, and even put those in the H2s as well. It can add a little bit of personality and really catch people's eye.